Yeah.
Well, let's transition here into I want to talk about masculinity,
Yeah.
men, strong mindset, and what is your thoughts on masculinity? It seems like specifically what I've heard from friends of mine that are in Hollywood that it seems to be very becoming very feminized. Specifically, the modern man. They talk about the modern man needs to be more feminine and more accepting and kind of push down versus, the traditionally strong man would be the protector, the provider. He would go out and fight wars and, bring back the gold, so to speak, from different, ways that he went. But I'm just curious on your perspective on that, because it is a very polarizing topic, especially toxic masculinity.
Right. I think the you have the left and right now that are just so much further left and right than they ever were.
Oh yeah.
That I remember growing up. And so there's this thing where it's like a man can't be a traditional man. Like if they are, they're like an asshole. Like there's like some big problem with that. You know what I mean? Whereas like, no, you can probably be a masculine man and still be like a great guy, right? It's like kind of this like there's a whole lot of people not wanting to meet in the middle or agree on anything. That you are just one thing or the other, right? And so
you have to pick a camp.
Yeah, exactly. And so definitely, and then living in Hollywood and being in the music industry, you definitely like, I don't know about right now, but for a time period, like we don't have any like masculine, well, right now we do in country, right? So, but like pop stars to look up to anymore. We had guys like Pitbull, right? Remember a little while back, Pitbull,
Mr.
Like,
Worldwide.
Was like, it was goofy, but he killed it, and it was masculine, right? It was like, it's like now we got
Sam Smith and
Lil Nas X.
Yeah. Oh man, it's like where do we, women are running rap right now, which is fine. I mean, that's their moment. They're having their moment. Yeah, there's sort of this, definitely like this anti-masculine energy flowing through everything right now.
A lot of people think that I talked to a guy, he works in marketing in New York and also in California, and he works with hedge funds and a lot of music labels. He said, the future is female. What are your thoughts on that?
The future is female. Right. That's what they want. That is for sure what they want.
If you're a female and you fit into any one of the victim categories, then you're automatically going to get funded for your business. It doesn't matter if your business has a good business plan, good economic models. It doesn't really matter. If you fit into these victim groups or these minority groups, then you are much more likely to get funding. And if you're a woman, then hats off, you're going to get funding.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And you have to. Not only that, is once you fit into these groups, they want you to really push that identity. Like it's like you can't just be a gay artist. You gotta like really push the fact that you're a gay artist.
Push your sexuality down people's throats. No pun intended.
There was definitely tons of gay artists back in the day that Elton John and Freddie Mercury. It was clear this is a gay person, but the music, the whole message wasn't about that, right? That wasn't the whole agenda. Like you could clearly see it, and you took it for what it was. The music was so good,
correct.
You kind of didn't care, and you're just like, and so now it's like they really want you to go all in on that identity, where it's like,
and that's even the thing, man, with the film industry, bro. That's why Disney is getting absolutely destroyed, because it is one thing. I have no problem with gay characters in movies.
Right.
I have no problem. But the problem is when they have to make sure that they have been, their whole family betrayed them their whole life, that their father kicked them out of the house because they were gay, and they have to go all this whole backstory of being a victim, right? I'm like, if there's a story or two about that, okay, I'm not going to lose my mind, right? But when every single thing has to point out their victimhood, right?
Well,
And
for
it
me,
can't-
it's with kids.
Yeah, and
when
it
they
can't just-
started
it
going
can't-
after kids, that's when I draw the
Yeah,
line.
and it can't just be about the story, right? I want to see how they overcame different things, but it doesn't always have to be about your sexuality, right? It's not, if you're a straight person, they always have it just be about the story, right? Because it's going to get boring if we're constantly talking about, oh, this straight person was in Hollywood and they overcame all this stuff because they were straight, right? It's just about have a good story. And allow, if characters like that are in it, that's fine. But Disney is getting destroyed because every single thing they put out has to be agenda driven. And that's why Wolverine and Deadpool, the new Twisters movie, is making like $1 billion. Because people are like, wow, I finally can see a story again. Since the last 15 years, it's hard to watch something that is Oscar nominated without it having a crazy agenda driven to it.
I feel like that's the same though in music, right? As a strong masculine man,
Yeah.
how have you bobbed and weaved in Hollywood with people that don't necessarily agree with you without sacrificing who you are? Like you're being inclusive to who they are, but you're not sacrificing your moral compass on the altar of their agenda.
There's been moments where things, you're doing sessions with artists or songwriters or just creative people in general, where these topics can come up, the topic of the day, the political topic of the day, the news, whatever's going on.
I wish I was a fly in that room, man. When that happened.
So I think you'd be surprised. More often than not, I'd say people are actually what the music industry shows us, and what kind of the people on my level who are just like creative and just trying to make a living. We actually agree on more than we disagree inside the rooms. And so a lot of the times we're actually kind of, we'll have some disagreements, but we kind of can acknowledge this kind of ridiculous stuff going on around us. And so I think actually there's more agreeing than there is disagreeing about all these things, about the agendas that you see, the way they use music to, influence. You see how they use it at Kamala Harris's event there, where they have So
Little John showed up last night. Did you see that?
And to be honest, on the other side of that, you had Kid Rock, which kind of a little cringy
That Trump,
too. A little cringy too, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm wondering who else they could have got. You know what I mean? But it's like, it makes sense. It makes sense. I'd say, when these topics do come up in the rooms, in the creative spaces, kind of like people agree to disagree.
That's a healthy place, man. Because
I think so.
I can't stand it when if we don't agree with your opinion, we then have to hate you as an individual.
Right.
There's
I
can love you. I can love you. Disagree with your philosophy and your view of the world, but it doesn't mean I have to reject you as an individual. And that's the problem in my world, because I'm in the film industry a lot. Is, hey, I don't have to agree with you. This isn't a cult. Stop having a cultish-like mentality that I have to agree with everything you say, or else I'm no longer part of your circle, right?
Would you agree with the sentiment, Luka, that it seems like, especially in the music industry, there's a lot of personas that happen where people, once the cameras are on, they kind of shift into that persona that will feed into an agenda. And then when the cameras are off, they go right back to their actual beliefs, because their actual beliefs won't sell as well as their personas would.
100%. I can't name names, but
of course.
I will tell you firsthand. You'll see people stand for one thing, and then in person, they'll totally switch up their whole tone. Happens all the time. And it's unfortunate. It really is.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This is a public example, but Cardi B, for example.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the music that she posts is very agenda driven. whether you like it or not. And then when the camera's off, she's more of a conservative. She doesn't
She's
want
an
her
amazing
own
mother.
child watch. She's like, I never want my child to watch any of my like music videos or listen to my songs.
Yeah, she's a good mother.
And she's apparently a good mother. And so it goes to show you that there is a lot of agendas driven. It's not just Hollywood. I think with the way that music's going, there's a lot of music that's actually becoming more independent now, where record labels are trying to figure out ways to stay afloat with the way that technology is going. Artists are becoming more independent. They're starting to sell their own records. Tom McDonald's a great example of that. There seems to be a lot of stuff going, but the music industry, I feel like, has such a stranglehold on the artist to where they can only say so much with their voice without being canceled. So they have to finagle and create personas to make sure that they can make a living.
Yeah, I mean, we saw when Kanye wanted to talk about Jesus, the pushback he got, right? So it's like,
oh my gosh,
and those turned out to be popular songs, and that's how you know people want to talk about God. They want to talk about Jesus, but with like Cardi B, what you're saying is absolutely true, and you just even look at politicians. I was thinking the other day when you had Kamala Harris up there saying we're going to give people 25 grand, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you this. They say all that stuff. They don't even raise their own kids that way, right? They don't go home and say like, oh, we're just, it's just a double standard, right? This is like the way they operate at home and the way that they portray themselves to the world it's
traditional values don't sell, man. They don't sell on a mass scale right now because it's not sexy enough. Specifically, you're talking about the 25 grand. That is to new homeowners. She wants to give them a $25,000 stipend. I'm like, well, the money just doesn't come from. It doesn't just come out of thin air. Well, it kind of does because we can print as much as we want.
Then the inflation happens.
Then the inflation goes up, and the cost of houses go up with that 25K. So you're not actually getting 25,000. It's the same with healthcare. It's the same with education, with student loan debt. It's all a circular inflational nightmare. And you're right. It's they don't even raise their own children that way, but they want to appeal to a certain group or audience that wants handouts, and that's socialism in and of itself. And it's actually absolutely a nightmare.
I mean, bro, you get me on the Kamala train, on the Kamala topic, bro. She is the biggest socialist. And Tim Walz, bro, he said we've done tons of reactions of Tim Walz and Kamala. Tim Walz has actually said that one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Right.
And in Minnesota during the COVID shutdown in 2020. He said he actually put in place a program that you could snitch on your neighbors if they didn't stay at home. Yep. And you're talking about he
lied about his military service when the BLM was tearing down Minnesota and burning it to the ground. His wife opened the window so she could smell the burning rubber, and it made her excited. That's insane.
And even Kamala in that time had an interview, and she said that she wanted, they shouldn't stop rioting.
No, it's a movement.
Just keep burning down black businesses that they're all for.
And the thing is, they were burning out. The black community was burning. It's not even the black community. Most of the BLM riots were led by white people, and they were burning down black businesses. I'm like, you're burning down your own people's business. That's crazy to me.
100%. Yeah, wild times then, more coming, I think, unfortunately.
If you enjoyed this video, you can check out another one right here and check out the entire podcast right here.